Hi, I'm Amy Edwards, and welcome to the Edwards Table. This podcast is all about real conversations, the kind that come from life, love, family, friendship, and all the messy, beautiful parts in between. I started this show because I believe in redemption stories and in sitting down together to talk about the things that shape us, heal us, and sometimes just make us laugh. So grab a seat, take a breath, and join me, because there's always room for you here at the Edwards Table. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Edwards Table. I'm Amy Edwards, and I'm joined again today by my husband, John. Kind of picking up where we left off last time. We talked about a lot leading up to our wedding and getting married. And then we kind of stopped because we were like, yeah, our first year was pretty wild and crazy. So it's kind of where we were. So we got married on a Saturday, spent the night at a hotel on Sunday, and went back to work on Monday. I started student teaching. And
I went back to work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank God we had your salary, because I wasn't making it.
Oh, yeah. All $24,000 a year. Maybe 26. I don't know what it was.
Hey, in some way we made it through.
But I do remember, too, at that time, like when we were grocery shopping, and we could get by with like $25 for the week, $30 for the week, buy bread, sandwich meat, chicken leg quarters, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what we did. I guess we did cereal and milk for breakfast, because we did eat breakfast some.
Some.
And then we'd eat it as a treat.
Yeah.
It'd be like a dessert at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were highfalutin back in the days.
Yeah, no. But too, I mean, I look at it, you can buy chicken wings for 99 cents a pound, actually it was like 49 cents a pound for a while, then it jumped to 99, and now it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Can't even buy chicken claws that cheap anymore.
Yeah. But what I will say, though, about shopping now is if you get creative, you can shop a lot cheaper than what you think. And I know, because I usually do that kind of grocery shopping for us. Like if we're balling on a budget for a stint, like knowing, okay, I've got X dollars to spend.
Yeah.
I can make it work. It's not like being able to buy fresh produce and things like that. You're going to have to buy something frozen or canned, meat. You're not going to buy organic.
Off topic here.
No, it's not way off topic, but it's just, that's the reality of where we were versus where we are now. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you make it work, and I think that's.
Well, you also
like bringing it
sacrifice other things, fun things, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. But that's what I was going to say is that's what we learned from that time, and we carry it with us even now.
Internet, cell phone, things that aren't necessary.
Absolutely. Eating out, coffee out, like you bring it home, you do everything from your house.
And it's truly getting down to what's necessary.
Right. And I think that is a huge thing that you and I we always are learning with that, but I think that's a huge piece of what we took away definitely from that first year, multiple years within our marriage, but but that first year, you make it happen. And when you're first married, golly.
No, but our first year of marriage. So from my perspective, it was bliss at first. I enjoyed living with you and being with you, and I'm trying to think back to, because it was such a blur, because we just went right back to the daily grind of work, you in school, whatever else, and just thinking of, what do you call it? Like, not goalposts, but like accolades, that may have been hit at that time. Like the big one was when you graduated university. And again, remembering that it was just me, my mother, I think, and two friends that came with us to that graduation. Once again, not your mother, not Robert.
Yeah.
Again, alienating you and not showing up for that. just like they did in our wedding.
Yeah.
So that gave me a lot of
5 months later.
Like
we hadn't been speaking that whole time because we got married in January. That was May.
Yeah, but that just continued to give me a lot of or fuel my animosity towards them. But I was also willing to. I thought it was just odd when she called up thereafter. And her phone call is not to apologize or say, can we reconcile, but it's, hey, would you like to take a ceramics class?
Yeah. It's kind of left field.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. But I was like, yeah, I guess so. Go. See what happens.
Yeah. Which we did.
You did, but I just always thought that was really odd about her. Like, doing stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Because it was, time and time again.
Well, and I think for me, it was the first time I'd ever really done it. I didn't really defy my mom and go against anything. And so when I left, and the way we left it, it was like I guess one other time I had done that a little bit when I was in high school or college dating the fella I dated before you, and kind of got sideways, but very quickly obeyed. And so it just put things back to bed, and then I just didn't have that to deal with. But, when I got kicked out of the house and kind of put our whole wedding situation on fast forward, that was the first time I had stood my ground, if you will, and just said, well, this is what I'm going to do, and not asking permission. Yeah. So, it was uncharted territory.
And I just keep thinking, too, like the previous summer, them calling me saying I had to make you go back to school during the summer because you would never go and graduate.
Yeah.
And all that. But here we are in May, you're graduating, and once again, they don't show up. Mm-hmm. And they knew. You sent them an invitation.
Oh, sure.
And whatever else, but yeah, they still did.
Yeah. And I think what's hard, what was hard then, I don't know that I articulated it a ton. I know you and I talked about it, but I was the first person in my family to even attempt college, much less graduate. And I was really proud of myself, for sticking with it and getting through it and doing it or whatever.
First in our family to graduate too.
Between you and me? You're so
and
yeah. Well, he was not a glimmer in the eyes yet, no. But yeah. So again, it was just that made it hard, and I think we just didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
But
I think with you guys doing that, I thought it would reconcile. It seemed to have reconciled somewhat.
Yeah.
During the summer we started. Going back over there to have dinner or meeting somewhere to have dinner, whatever else. And then summer goes by, and I guess in September, October, you find out you're pregnant with Quinethan.
Right before, it was December actually.
I thought it was a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm. It was very early.
Maybe
and then Christmas is when I started wearing maternity clothes and whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, you found out you were, but you were probably already pregnant leading up to that because you were what? How far along were you when you found out?
I had already blown my whole first trimester. It was 13 weeks by the time we figured it out. So it was that's what I was saying. It was end of November, beginning of December when I found out. And because don't you remember that's when, I'm pretty sure it was Robert's birthday, which was December, is when we told them I was pregnant.
Gotcha.
And you were coaching basketball.
Yeah.
Because when I found out...
that starts in November.
Yeah, but when I found out I was pregnant... No, I know that, but I'm just saying. So I know vaguely when it was. But when I found out... I don't remember
the time. I just remember eating the...
you remember the phone call?
The crow. I don't really remember. I remember the phone call and being like, oh, okay. What does that mean?
Yeah, it wasn't one of those exciting reveals.
Well, I was trying to process... because obviously it wasn't in our plans. We wanted to wait, 3 or 4 years, 5 years.
I said 5. And I told the doctor on site, I was like, you can go back there and do that test again. I am not pregnant.
We just were we needed because we had plans. Sick. We were in that house. We were planning to, which we did. We ended up, but we were planning to make that our first rental property and be able to move into something else and just start building. So there was a lot of plans, for finances to travel a little bit together since we couldn't do a honeymoon.
Yeah.
At the time we got married, and it just never came. That part of it, the travel part, didn't really come to fruition, really, because Quinn Jr. showed up.
Yeah.
Or not Junior, but my junior, but
yeah. When we found out that I was pregnant with him, it was hard because we, like you said, we had this 5-year goal of, or at least I did. 5 years was kind of in my head of like.
I think both of us did. Kids weren't on radar at all. I knew eventually we would, but
yeah, for sure.
I just wanted to be a little more successful first and doing some things before we threw kids in the mix.
For sure. But we like, in that first year too, one thing we did.
Well, hold on. When you found out you were pregnant and you came home, to me, I vividly remember it seems like the very next morning, you're sick.
As a dog. I was so sick.
So you find out you're pregnant the day before, and the next day you start getting real sick.
Well, now pause.
Day out. Hold on, just a minute.
Hold on, but
that's how I remember it.
I didn't feel well for weeks, and then finally.
But I just remember telling you.
But that next day,
I remember
not only
telling
that.
you.
Wait. Not only that.
Yeah.
For the next day, it was my first year of teaching.
Yes.
So I had an observation scheduled for the next day, and the person who was observing me was the assistant principal, and she was not kind.
Yeah. But
about it.
I'm just saying that you were saying that you were sick, you didn't feel well, you're sick. And I'm just like, come on, you just found out this week. And
lo and behold,
now all of a sudden,
mm-hmm.
now you're sick. Give me a break. Come on, you're making yourself sick. And whatever. But I also remember coming in the bathroom a few days after that, and you laying there vomiting in the bathtub and whatever. So I was like, ooh, I'm really sorry. Can I help you? Get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ate a little bit on that one. I was like, ooh, probably shouldn't have said that. Because that was kind of a little bit of a blow-up argument.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I think you're just hamming it up because you found out you're pregnant. Didn't exactly use those words, but that's essentially what I was saying.
Mm-hmm. So I had legitimate.
That did not age well at all.
No, it went really fast. It
Yes.
escalated quite quickly.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, no, I spent a good portion of my
I know I've
mornings
said it
on the
before,
floor.
but I still apologize for that.
Well, and thankfully, though, that was short-lived. Like, I didn't stay really... I would usually get really nauseous mid-afternoon. Like, when I was teaching is when I would get sick.
Yeah, that was a whole nother transition, too, was... Wintertime came, and in Memphis, where we were living, as the days get shorter, it's shorter in the sense that it's dark at night, like by 4:30 in the afternoon. It's so depressing. And so that's why I'm so thankful to live in Texas, because even in the winter, during the fall back, it's not dark until 5:30, 5:45, 6. It's very short-lived.
Yeah.
So really love that here. But there it was like 4:30, 4:40, and God forbid it was raining, which it did pretty much for 3 months during the winter,
it was awful.
And it was cloudy and nasty. So then it felt like 4:15 and it was dark. It was just depressing. You would get up and go to work dark, and then before you could even get home, it was already dark.
Yeah, you had your headlights on coming home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in any case, I remember coming home many a night and just seeing the glow of the TV through the window.
Yeah. House was
and
pitch
then
dark.
come in and be like, "Hey, what are we doing for dinner?" I don't know. And I'm like, so we lived on Sonic jalapeno poppers.
Yep.
And what was that Mexican place?
El Porton.
El Porton. Mexican food. We absolutely 3 to 4 times a week ate that.
Yeah.
Really good for the waistline, I might say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congenital heart failure and everything else. It was really good.
That was bad. Well, and I too, like the other thing I struggled with, especially when I was pregnant with Quinn, were like hormonal migraines. Like I'd come home in the afternoon, having had it start at school teaching, and I'd come home, and literally the only way I could get it to go away is to lay down and really cry myself to sleep, which is what I would do most afternoons. And I had one almost every single day, especially in that like second trimester. Going into the third, like once we got towards summer, it wasn't as bad, but golly, when I was teaching, it was awful.
Yeah.
And I tried really hard not to take medicine or anything, because it was like, you know, I was a little bit nervous being pregnant. I was thinking, I don't know if I should or if I shouldn't. And the doctor I had at the time,
she was awful.
I listened to her way too more than I should
don't
have.
worry about your weight. Just eat whatever you want. Have a good time.
100 pounds later.
Ladies, never have an OB that has never had a kid.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So my lady had never had a kid and had no idea. She was in a practice. And I'll never forget your heartbreak and my anger when the second doctor we saw in that practice was like, "Okay, you need to pull back the reins on how much you're eating weight." And I was like, "Wait a freaking minute!" I did. I got up immediately because I went to all those. I was like, "Don't you dare come in here and say that. Dr. Such and such has said the whole time, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about it. You're not gaining too much weight. Don't worry about it."
Eat whatever you want.
For 7 months. And now you come in and you say, "Hey, you're eating too much. Y'all need to get your crap together."
Yes.
I was irate. You were balled up in the corner, just crying. I'm fat.
Yeah, well, I was huge. And two, I think, like, you know, when you're having your first child and you're trusting of what your doctor's telling you because you don't know any better.
Learned a lot about that too, hadn't we?
A ton. So, yeah. But all in all, and then, like, as we got to summertime, for me, we had moved into our little house in March because we renovated it over my spring break in 1 week. And I spent the summer like in the flower beds, in the yard, doing stuff around the house, just like trying to get stuff done. What?
We didn't live in that house before then? I thought we bought that the spring. We did the renovation the spring break. You were in college.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said. The spring before.
Yeah, but the summer now, we were still working on stuff, and I remember the summer you were pregnant, the spring, summer you were pregnant, especially the summer, I remember parking my truck out front, taking your truck, because it was loaded with mulch, and I came home, and the lady across the street, the cat lady, had taken pictures of you up there at 7-8 months pregnant, unloading mulch out of the back of my truck.
8.5. It was like right up button.
And I just got a scoop of it, or a couple of scoops of it put, so it was loose, and you were using a seed fork to spread mulch.
I was.
Holy moly.
My flower beds were going to be beautiful for the baby coming home. Yeah, no, and two, in that little house, albeit we renovated, like we refinished the floors and did all of the things, we didn't have central heat and air. And so the summer, especially the summer I was pregnant with Quinn, it was one of the hottest on record.
Yeah. I remember sometime during that summer, though, I finally got a window unit for our bedroom.
Yeah, you did, because We had
But it
been
was right
dragging
at
the
the
mattress
end.
out.
Yeah, we'd been pulling the mattress out. You couldn't even get out the front door
No.
to sleep because we only had the one window unit in the kind of main living area there.
Yeah. And so we finally did. We invested in a window unit and put it in our bedroom, and it pointed directly on me, which was amazing.
I remember too, our bed was so big it was slammed against the wall. So you'd have to crawl out
across
the toe or the foot of the bed or crawl over the other person.
Yep.
And I can't remember, did I sleep against the wall or you did, right?
I did. Yeah. And I was insistent that all of it was pointing on me.
I think I slept like totally underneath the covers.
I know, because we had the fan on high, had the air conditioner on high. It was amazing. But, it was, again, you get back to it, you made do with what you could and what you had. And unfortunately, too, that house wasn't insulated at all. So, you're blowing all that cold air, but it wasn't staying cool. No. It was just you felt the cool air on you. So,
yeah.
But I mean, and funny story I don't know if you remember this or not, but it was July 3rd is when I started having contractions, and we went to the hospital, and the nurses were like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna go home with a baby. You're gonna have a baby."
But they sent us home.
And then they sent us home.
Yeah.
And then I stayed doing that until I was induced on July the 16th.
Yeah.
It was a whole lot of fun.
I remember that because the British Open. Quinn was born during the British Open.
I'm so glad that we have golf to help guide you.
We went in on
memories.
Thursday evening, but Friday morning after he was born, I was watching the British Open. And
lucky me.
He got to see his first Open championship.
I was a very nice woman in labor because that's what was on the television in my room.
I don't think you were caring about anything. You were only
as
caring
long as
about that one woman.
Well, no, there was more than one.
But the one woman from Europe that kept pushing on your belly.
Yeah.
And you were like,
she's like,
don't touch me. And I was like, happened to you. Get out.
Yeah. Well, yes. I did tell that story in last season with Mad. Yeah, I don't recommend you do that with a pregnant person in labor.
Boy, she kept pushing on you too, and I was like...
It hurt. It was so... I mean, I was in full labor, no drugs, just laying there trying to breathe through everything, whatever. And she was trying to help push, literally push things along, and it's like, get off me.
I know.
From my big toe that came. I was so mad.
I was like, I think you better listen. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, because she had that. Oof. Yeah. Yes, and then too, also, the one family friend of your family.
No, yeah.
Who kept popping in. I'm like, look here.
We're not that close. But gone.
I mean, I'm not even allowing my own mother in the room with me. Once I'd really started getting into full on labor. I don't certainly want a family friend of my husband.
Well, that was something we discussed too, because sometimes, once again, she can be a little overbearing, and she was making plans and whatever else, and we were like, no, this isn't the three of us moment. This is you'll wait in the waiting room moment.
Well,
we'll let you know
when we first got there, they took turns.
Yeah.
Between your mom, bouncing back and forth, which was cool, and we were very clear that to everyone. Once I got to that place where I needed to really just be breathing and quiet and turn the lights down and whatever.
Yeah, it was a me and you time.
Yep. Yeah. I did.
I think we were both big proponents. Like I heard this the other day. I think it was something Mark Driscoll was talking about. Just in reference to, you leave and cleave. You leave your parents, you cleave. And I was a very big
let me say, in marriage, not in moving in with a girlfriend or boyfriend, but you leave your parents and cleave to your wife or husband.
I was very, very much big into that.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't necessarily really close to God or whatever, but my model, I think, is what I saw in that, is that it's up to you and I to go through the challenges.
Yeah.
And everything else that come with marriage.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Yeah. I think for me,
I think it was very hard for you to
I
draw
loved the idea of
down. Yes, but you didn't think you could ever achieve it because you couldn't tell your mother no.
Right.
And you couldn't put her in her place of where she was in our relationship.
Right. Well, and I think that's the thing, right? Like when you have a situation, good grief, all kinds of noises today. When you have a situation where you have a very controlling parent and you've been raised in that, it is difficult. Like my struggle has always been, I say I'm a believer, I'm a Christ follower, and so balancing how to honor your mother in that situation, not to say that you allow her a position in your marriage, but that you're being honoring to her. And I think for me personally, that's not having healthy boundaries didn't allow, not only did I not leave and cleave, but I also wasn't honoring, because a healthy boundary is honoring. Yeah. It's allowing someone to understand.
But we learned along the way. I mean, I think.
Oh, for sure.
But I think for you were looking for it, like when they moved to Destin, you were
that's
thinking
way far ahead.
I know that, but I mean, I'm just thinking aloud that I just feel like at that point it was like, they're not going to be in town, so I don't really have to be that profound with setting the boundary anymore because they're not going to live here.
Well,
but that backfired too.
Yeah, the distance does it. Or
exactly, and that's my point, is that the distance there, so I don't have to have that confrontation, because everything with them was a confrontation. And no, they're not going to do it. And whatever. Right,
and again, it's just like with any relationship, what you allow is what someone will do. Mm-hmm. And so I allowed the opinions, the bowling through what I'm saying, the lack of respect for what I'm requesting. Mm-hmm. I allowed that because I didn't have healthy boundaries, did not know how to have them. Took me years to go to professional counseling, to learn about myself, learn about my situation. And it was a work in progress. So early on in our marriage, I absolutely had no healthy boundaries at all.
I just remember when you and I, a couple of years in, after Quinn's being born, had been born, like we're kind of struggling. And I remember you saying, I can't remember what year it was, whatever, but I know Maddie wasn't here yet. Mm. And you had said, or we both agreed, let's go to counseling. And let's go get some counseling.
Oh, this is like when Quinn's like 2.
Yeah, no. So it's a little bit further along. But I just remember going, it was like every time I would try to do counseling with you, they would excuse me after the first or second meeting. Which I think I went once or twice. Not that I didn't need like counseling in our marriage or anything. But there was so much to unpack with you first.
Right.
Just given your childhood, that relationship with your mother, whatever else, they were like, we're going to work through this first, and then we'll bring John back in. But there was just so much there that it was like years, which in working through that helped our relationship. The other thing that helped our relationship too is as we grew, again, I don't think that I was super focused at that time. I knew I needed to be in church. I knew we needed to, but you were pushing that more than I was.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm going with, at certain points I'm going with or without you. And of course I'm like, well, I'm not going to have you go without me. That'll be embarrassing. These are people we know, whatever. So although I knew deep down inside I need to be more involved, I need to be taking my family to church and whatever. But as we did that, right, that became, like I talked about, I think in one of the episodes that we've done, that just being there sometimes has a profound effect. Even though I knew that I became a Christian when I was like 13 years old, and there were times in and out before I even met you that I was closer to God, not close to God.
Sure.
whatever it was where, I took the wheel again and figured I could drive. And even during that time of being married, like I knew that we needed to be part of this, but every time I garnered more success or whatever else, I felt like I was more in control and therefore didn't need the things that God was offering.
Right.
At that time.
Sure.
Whatever it was. I'll do it later. Teach Sunday school, start a small group or whatever we called them back then.
Yeah. Bible
study, whatever. No, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
Right now it's not convenient, So, I just kind of remember that as being the underlying background of everything. But it also became the foundation later for such tremendous growth in our relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Because all during the time, even though we were going, we were constantly in and out of bickering, out of liking one another, then not liking one another. Sure. Always what brought us back together, I feel like, was something that was coming from your mom and Robert.
Not always. No, John, that would not be a fair statement. This is not beat up Robert and Carolyn to make it all sound like it's...
No, but I'm saying anytime there was some kind of drama there, that always brought us back together.
Oh, I thought you were saying they were causing all of our issues.
No.
What?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not what I said. What I said was, because there were so many things in and out, from when Quinn, 8, 9 months old and having all those ear infections, and you getting a phone call that you're a bad mother. And you need to start doing better.
Right.
And whatever else. And it's like, how dare you? Okay, we'll handle that right now, drive. But we were always on the same page, and I was always willing to come to your defense. No matter how much we were bickering about, our relationship, stuff we were doing, whatever.
Yeah.
That would happen. Then it would be Thanksgiving, and everybody planning where they're going to sit next to Quinn. No, you didn't birth him. It's his first Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
He's going to sit next to his mother.
Yeah.
It was a constant battle with that woman.
Well, but it was also, too, you pushed really hard and I recoiled really hard. So it was like you're
like, no, I don't want. I was like, It's everybody's going to the curb right now.
Well, and for me, the difference was what I came from was constant chaos, and I just wanted it to be pleasant and peaceful and fun and good memories and things like that. And so I was willing to go way past the point of saying yes and just letting, I got so run over by that constantly.
Even the leading up to the holidays, I remember too getting some kind of phone call. I don't even remember what the phone call was about from her. And I was like, hand me the phone.
Yeah. I ran out of the room.
And then it's like I could hear, no, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. Because she could hear me in there saying, hand me the phone. I'm going to handle it right now.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
And it was just stuff and it's like, oh my God.
That's the thing that I'm saying is that, looking back at it now, obviously 30 years, 25, whatever it is, fast forward, but looking back at it now, had I had the skill to say no, hold a really firm boundary, it would have been totally different because it would have shut it down.
Absolutely.
But at that point in my life, absolutely did not know and wasn't willing to do it because I was so scared. And that's very much my childhood of fear, of just being scared all of the time. And if I could find just a little sliver of something that felt peaceful or good or happy. And I fought and worked really hard the whole time we had kids growing up in our house to make it that. To have a good holiday or a good meal or a good make it something that was pleasant and enjoyable and whatnot. And so,
I remember too not being able to explain or getting my mother or my sister to understand what I was trying to, the manipulation that was taking place, and whatever. Oh, that's just a mother and a daughter fight. No. This is beyond that.
Well,
you two butt heads, and I'm not saying that they hadn't had their little knockdown dragouts, but there was never any doubt of conditional love between the two of them.
Right.
And it still isn't. And that's what you suffered. Conditional. If you're not meeting my condition, I don't love you right now.
Right.
So I'm going to cut you off.
Right.
And I'm not going to talk to you. And I'm not going to see you.
Right.
And whatever else.
Yeah.
And that's how it was.
Well,
that was the thing, trying to get them to understand, the whole time, that it was just totally different, that I'd never experienced or seen that before.
Well, and that's the thing,
from a parent
is
to
that,
a child.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
That's definitely the thing, to be able to articulate to someone who's not experienced it before. There's not really a good way to give the information to where you can truly understand it and comprehend it. It's kind of like totally different topic, but very much the same situation. I was with my awesome volunteers. We were talking about this on Tuesday at our little small group, and just the concept of hell, that God is not present there. Like, we on this earth, none of us can comprehend that, because he's here. He's everywhere. And we can think about it, but until you experience it, you're not going to know what that actually feels like,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very much that thought to me is if you've never experienced this as either a participant or an onlooker because you've been in the mix, you can't fathom what that actually looks like. And I think too, what it does is it just, for me anyway, it was so controlling of my decisions and my life, and that, so that I didn't, at the time, I didn't know what to do with it. And I would have these moments of clarity, okay, well, I'm going to say, I'm a good mom and I'm doing the right thing or whatever else, but it wouldn't take 3 sentences and I would be back to cowtailing and, because from the moment Quinn was born, it was a constant struggle for me to feel confident in my ability as a mom, and knowing that I was a good mom, I was doing right by him and loving him well. And
I mean, and there's parts too we were thankful for. We were thankful for the fact that she was able to take care of him so much, but it came with a condition.
Yeah.
And that condition was that she could just spew this nonsense sometimes at just irrelevant times,
Well, and
even
more
also
than that,
grew and morphed into such an attitude within our son, that I feel he still fights to this day.
Well, I would say too, even more than that, with what I was hearing wait, what did you say? You said what did you said?
Well, I said I was thankful too for the fact that she was there and able to take care of him so much, so we weren't having to put him in daycare and this and that and the other.
Well, we put him in daycare, but when he got sick, he could go stay with her.
Yeah, but she would take him to, he was in daycare, but he wasn't 5 days a week. She was.
No, he
had
was.
him.
Some.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that, but what I was thinking when you were saying that was, with the conditions, it wasn't just saying things, it was also doing things. So I don't, for instance, he's an infant. He's in a zip up pair of jammies that are really heavy. I'm not going to layer him in a t-shirt on top of that, because we don't live in a place that's that cold. And he's in a heated room, so he's sweating. But being berated because I didn't do that, and therefore I wasn't a good mother.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It came with conditions.
Oh yeah,
Big
lots
time.
of them. And so, yes, and that over the course of the next couple of years, it just kept growing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just kept snowballing.
Yeah. And finally, that's what, and I know I talked about this in last season, but that's where I finally got with continuing to go to counseling, continuing to get an understanding of like what good boundaries were and whatever else.
And I think that's exactly what it was. You talked about like Quinn was around 2 or something, but that's exactly what was struggling at that time, was setting those boundaries with her. Because, there was part of that was making us kind of butt heads, but it was other things too. Obviously, I mean, don't hear me say I'm perfect. Not even. Or that I don't have 50% of the blame in everything that happened between us, because 100% I do. Maybe even more than 50%.
I did not say
but that was just something else that was up on top of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think it was because it was constant in our life. It wasn't like a once a week thing. It was almost daily.
Yeah. And they only lived a couple of miles away from us. And
well,
that was also,
your mom too. I mean, it was one big circle of love there.
But I have to admit, my mother gave our space.
Oh yeah, she did.
And she was
also had
asked
other stuff going on in her life where she worked a full-time job.
Correct.
Had quite a healthy relationship with a lot of friends, and so it wasn't not to say that we didn't talk to her very regularly, like Quinn call her and talk to her or whatever, but, and then spending the night when he got a little bit older or whatever, but respect for what we asked for.
Yep.
And an understanding when he came over to her house. I mean, you can fill him full of all kinds of junk or whatever, but also just know there will be ramifications. You'll probably pay the price while he's still with you, so just... But also, I mean, looking out for his best interest. So, I did never worry that he was going to sit down and watch some like rated R movie when he was little or anything like that, or whatever.
Even as a teenager, it was a fight to get her to do that,
Yeah. But I know when Matt and I talked last season about like this time of when all of this kind of all blew up with us, I was telling her, I said, I still was very much fearful of my mom and our relationship, whatever. And I would ask of her, like, we really need some space, but that conversation went nowhere.
Yeah.
And so when I was in counseling, it was recommended I write it down and give it to them, which I did. And the timing of that could not have been worse, because I took it over there and put it in their mailbox on the morning of September the 11th, or the evening of September the 10th, and that was 2001.
Yeah.
So with what happened on September the 11th, that didn't help in the layering of all of the junk that was going on then. But what that turned into and how it came, I had told Matt about, Quinn in the shower or whatever, and falling and getting bruised up. And in my mind, why I don't know.
You're like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Right, and he did too. I mean, even at 3 was like,
I just figure I need to document this because I just don't know.
And literally,
I mean,
in the moment, thought about it, did, snapped off a couple of pictures of the bruising or whatever on his back, and put the camera away. Literally didn't give it a second thought. And then that happened, but and then that was in the summertime. Fast forward a couple of months, and then it was, okay, literally you're showing up. I say I want to, for instance, do a special treat for him on Fridays, and there's donuts on the door. And I'm like, no, I want to take and do something special. And it's like, it just was this constant battle.
I know, of being the first.
Of
everything.
Well, just trying to be a mom in this, and then have our little family just be our little family. And so when
it was like, and two, I wish you would have learned that time not to tell her anything.
Right, and that was what was hard, right? Because it's like you want to share.
Stop talking to her. Right. Because, yeah, I forgot about that kind of stuff. Like every time you mentioned you want to do something, and like he would go stay with her, she would take him to do that or something extremely similar first.
Yeah.
I just couldn't fathom. Or there was something we were planning to buy for him once we could, like next pay period, whatever else, and they would buy one for him first over the house, especially when it came to the golf stuff.
Yeah.
Like all the time. And they're like, well, he's our grandson. We can do what we want.
Fair.
That's fine, but
also it's not a competition.
Pump the brakes.
But it wasn't a competition.
That's what they always made it.
But that's how it came across, for sure.
And instead of being patient and, hey, we need to wait till the end of the month or next month or something like that. Nope, we'll do it now.
Yeah.
And that's what it always felt like.
Oh, for sure.
Always.
And so when we, like, leading up to all of this, it felt like a tit for tat. Every time we did something, they did something. We said something, they did it first.
Yeah.
And so the behavior that it instilled in Quinn at that time, I mean, at 3 years old, he would take a toy and just chuck it across the room and break it.
Take it out back and break it.
And then
just say, it doesn't matter. I'll get a new one when I go to Grandma's tomorrow.
Yep. And
the next day, and sure enough, take him right out and go buy it, or tell him on the telephone. Or sometimes say, hey, he broke this, and by the time he showed up, there was one at the house.
Yeah. And so it would just...
Graham, I got you a new one.
Yeah. It was very unhealthy. Extremely unhealthy. And it instilled in him...
entitlement.
Very much a spirit of entitlement and expectation.
And it's something we fought with him all the way through and through.
Well, and the thing that's really heartbreaking in all of that is that it wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't.
He learned how to
manipulate. And that was the hard thing, I think, for us to figure out. And the skill is a good skill to have, but
it is
within reason.
Using it wisely.
Correct.
Just like anything, any skill that we ascertain, it's using it wisely.
And I think there were times too where we, especially as he got older, because we wanted to be the first to do something, that we would go beyond what we needed to do too.
Oh, sure.
Or give, or whatever else. Because, again, those are the type things that I wish that I could take back or change. Is doing the same thing when he was older, because it did feel like such competition.
Well, and I think you struggled with...
Oh, my God. I probably struggled with it more than you, but I was like, I want to give it first because...
I'm his dad.
I said it out loud, and now they're going to rush to go do it.
Right.
If I don't get it done.
Right. Well, and that was the thing was... It was very messy when he was 3. It turned into us getting served papers and them, suing us for visitation with eventual potential for custody.
Making claims of abuse for custody and whatever else.
Yeah. And so...
But I sure do love how God worked that story out.
Yeah, he did. He did us...
Found out they were full of garbage.
He did us right there, for sure. Always does. But thankfully, justice prevailed in that. Justice didn't have to prevail, but it did.
When their attorney recused herself.
Yeah.
From that.
After we had gone through, I think it was like 8 months of people showing up at our jobs, people crossing our paths in like wild situations.
Or not dissertations, but what they call depositions and all that kind of stuff, back and forth. Trying to get them to go to Christian counseling with us.
Yeah.
To try to resolve
any way
it.
to keep us out of court. Any way to keep us
I
out of court.
didn't want to go. Because I didn't know how that worked and what was going to happen. But obviously their attorney did her due diligence and realized they were both lying.
Yeah.
About everything they were claiming. So that kind of ended that.
It did. And thankfully, it opened up an opportunity for us to wind up going to counseling.
Yeah.
Of which.
And reconcile it again.
Yes. And I think, again, with the manipulative behavior of, flying my grandmother in to try to get us to say yes.
That's all right, baby. That time I wasn't taking no from you.
Well, that time, though.
Because I just told them both. I was like, no, we're not here to talk about visitation.
Well, no,
if that's going to be a problem, then we'll all leave now. We'll see you in court.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so interesting to me because by that point we've been married 4 years.
Yeah.
And
we were being battle tested.
Yeah. I mean, talking to people now about their relationship, if they've been married for a little stint of time or whatever, and you listen to their stories, and I'm thinking, good Lord, we've had quite a few situations in our relationship, and I mean, you're talking that's just the first 4 years of marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we've already gone through some things.
Some pretty huge things.
Yeah. And we keep going through them. That is kind of funny. I just looked at it as that's life.
Yeah, I don't know that I've met anyone else that's.
I know when you put them all together though, and you start thinking about them, and then having a miscarriage after that, because I know you wanted like 700 children.
I would have taken as many.
And I was like, pump the brakes. I don't mind practicing making children, but I don't want that many. No way. But, yeah. But then to, you have the miscarriage. I don't know how for me, again, I kind of feel like you're on, I don't know. I didn't care at that point or not, I guess, about having more kids. Not that I didn't want to have more kids, but it was just, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to seem like insensitive to it or whatever else.
You weren't insensitive during
the time. But
it's
like, I think it's just different. No, I hurt for you, and whatever else, but feeling attachment to the child.
Well, it wasn't like a very long time again.
No, but it's still, I didn't, and maybe that's what it is that it came so quickly that it didn't take time to develop. Hey, we're having another kid. Let's get excited about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like we got Quinn a little shirt and did the whole little thing, but it was within, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks of finding out I was pregnant. I miscarried and.
Yeah, I do remember that. 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it wasn't like, okay, we're going to start thinking about getting the nursery together and all that kind of thing. We didn't do any of that.
And then I remember having the Madster. Coming.
Yeah, that was some wild times.
But that was. I seem to remember finding that out, whatever else, and being extremely excited about that throughout the whole thing and feeling attached. And then she came and was born and her head spun around. She spewed everywhere and whatever else. After she got out of the hospital, she was a little lethargic at the hospital there. I was a little nervous, obviously, when she was born.
Yeah, Apgar 0, pushing the panic button.
And I was like, what does it mean? Talk to me. What's going on? What's good? Just sit down, be with your wife.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting ready to be with all of y'all.
And she would
get ready to start throwing stuff. What is happening?
She was blue. It was so beautiful.
I remember walking over to where they were, and they were kind of like, I don't know.
And they would run
on
her
her chest.
And
I was like, hey.
Trying to get her to cry.
I know.
And she'd let out a little, and then just slump over.
Yeah.
I could see her a little bit, not a lot, because they obviously were standing around working on her or whatever. And then, I mean, when they pushed that button on the wall and the sea of people that
took her away.
flooded in and then whisked her away, and
then I couldn't stand it. They had the needle in her head,
because they couldn't pull the line on her leg, on her foot. I know.
Yeah, I felt really bad on that. I can't believe we were able to take her home. Like, she got everything together. We were able to take her home as quickly as we did.
Well, and two, I talked about this too before, like,
Because after all that, I thought, is she struggling to thrive, or what?
Yeah. Well, they brought me down to her after I went into recovery. Now I know
for sure when I have interactions with, she is not struggling to thrive at all.
No, but don't you remember that? They wheeled me downstairs into the NICU and put her on my chest for just a second. And after that, the nurse told me, she was like...
I watched a dog yawn. I started yawning. That's pretty ridiculous.
My bestie over here on my foot. Yeah. My furry bestie. But
the emotional support dog. She's the one that the dog is the one that needs emotional support.
She's a sugar. But yeah, Mad was, it was wild. And I did, like, when I was telling Maddie about this previously, I got teary because, when I first found out I was pregnant with her, it was triplets. And I was scared to tell anybody. I was even scared to tell you because I was like, I don't know. Especially because I had a miscarriage the year before. So that made me fearful of, like...
Yeah, I don't remember any of that.
I know, because I didn't really talk about it. But, every time I would go, they would do an ultrasound. And first time I went, it was all 3. Second time I went, there were 2. And then a few weeks, however many visits went by or whatever, and then there was 1. And the technician I saw usually was the same technician that would do my ultrasounds. And she told me even, she was like, Amy, this one sac of the 3 is probably not going to be viable, so don't get your hopes up that you're actually going to carry all 3. And I just remember, again, we keep going back to, like, where we were in our relationship with Christ. And at that time, very involved with church, definitely was in the Word a lot, and begging God to please just let one of these babies survive, kind of a thing. So for me, it was...
I definitely think, I still quiet, at that time was not...
fearful.
Very personally involved in the Word and with God.
You were working
personally
a lot, and then we'd go to church and Sunday school on Sunday.
Yeah, and that was, it was just a thing for me at that time. There were times where I had attachment to God, or just got emotional of, understanding I need to be more involved in a personal relationship, but then that would quickly fade into the work week, and I'd be back to work, and which was typically, at that time, it was so nuts. It was like driving jobs after church to see how to plan things for Monday morning and the week ahead.
Well, I mean, I talked about
it was 6.5 days a week,
Yeah, and I mean, it was, the hours were really long. So, like, for Maddie, Quinn had a cool childhood because he would get to go with you sometimes, ride or whatever. But for Mad, when she was, 18 months, 2 years old, whatever, out of a crowd of people, she couldn't necessarily pick you out because she didn't see you as often.
No, and that was frustrating too, because I would come home and she was colic.
Well, she had colic when she was an infant, not when she was 2.
But I would come home because I did always love holding my kids and spending time with them. But it was frustrating with Maddie because it was like every time I came home, she was screaming bloody murder. Yeah. Every single evening, and I could never soothe her.
Yeah.
And I remember until she was like 10, 11 months old, 9, 10 months old.
Well, the colic ended shortly after a 6-month checkup, but the attachment to me, that was just because that was it.
But when she was like 9 and 10 months old, I could get her out of her crib.
And she wouldn't scream at you.
Yeah, and have her come sit on the couch with me. And then when she was like how old was she when she started walking? Like a year and a half almost.
Yes.
She waited forever.
She didn't have to walk. She had a big brother that doted on her every woman fancy.
And so I just remember like 13, 14 months, like grabbing her up, giving her a little sippy cup of milk.
Mm-hmm.
She sat on the couch next to me. Daddy's cocky. Daddy's cocky. Having coffee together.
Uh-huh.
I was wearing that little pink jumper thing. It didn't have footies.
Yeah.
But it was all like, I think one piece.
One
or
piece
maybe it was
zipped
pants and top. I can't remember. I can't remember what the print was that it had on it, but her little short haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Making her do Darth Vader. What's Darth Vader say? Oh, oh, oh.
Yep. Yeah, no, her first couple of months were rough.
Yeah.
Several months. I shouldn't say couple, but several. She had it. Poor baby.
Yeah, it was bad.
I know.
I remember taking her, like, in the middle of the night. I was like, let me get up. I'll get up with her. I couldn't sit. I just was telling you, I was crying. I was telling you, you get this child to the doctor tomorrow. X-ray, MRIs,
Hand me the baby.
Everything. You find out what's wrong. Don't tell me it's colic either, because that's bullcrap. We live in 2000s. We could solve anything.
But colic.
I still didn't believe it.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, there's got to be a cure for this. Now get it fixed tomorrow.
I know. But
she's suffering.
See where you think she needs love. You're getting upset. No, I know. She had, not only did she have colic, but she had like
it wasn't making
eczema.
It was making me mad because she was suffering.
She was in so much pain.
You know, it was just blood curdling cries. But when they figured it out, it was the milk. You remember that? And
well,
because we went from, it was, what, Enfamil or something like that?
Well, I tried nursing her. That didn't work.
But that didn't work with any of our kids.
Then, yeah,
I don't know, Enfamil.
We went through.
We tried the canned ones that were lactose free. That was the other one we tried. And then finally, it was try the soy. And when we went to soy, she finally settled down.
It was like a new child.
Yes. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, because we were putting Mylanta in every bottle, giving her a dose of Mylanta before, after, like anything we could do.
That poor child was going at both ends. I don't even know.
Finally, we found the soy formula working.
Yeah.
And then at a year, they were just like, yeah, let's try cow's milk. That
I was like,
was awful.
What?
Well, that's when
but
you
shortly
do it,
thereafter,
John.
I know, but shortly thereafter, she did start drinking milk.
No, she did not, babe. She drank soy milk and ate soy products for the first 2 years of her life. We tried cow's milk. Don't you remember that? We were living in the...
Weatherwood?
No. We sold the house. We're building the big house. Moved into my mom and Robert's house while they were trying to sell it. And you'd wake up in the morning to go get Maddie, and she would need a bath. The room would need to be cleaned. It was god-awful.
I don't remember that.
Of course you don't. Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Daily
I think
for about 2 weeks, and I called the pediatrician's office. I was like, okay, need a new thing because the cow's milk is not working. And so that's when we got her on soy, and she ate like soy cheese, and she drank soy milk, and
we were raising a granola girl.
Yeah, but once we figured that out.
I just remember when she went back to regular cow's milk, though. I thought she was only like just past a year or so, maybe a year and a half.
Goes to show what you were doing in your life, working, not taking care of kids. I did the grocery shopping and made sure we had the right products in the house. No. She was on soy milk.
Poured her milks and stuff like that.
And we had Maddie's milk and we had Quinn's milk.
Maybe so.
But that's why I think she was about, Daddy's cocky, Maddie's cocky. Like, it was hers.
Yeah.
And she got her chocolate soy milk as a treat.
Yeah.
Do you remember it came in little boxes?
I remember when she's, at some point though, I remember her having just regular milk. And maybe that was 2 years old.
Yeah, rounded corner to 3, because I wasn't playing that. I was like, I have cleaned up more off of this poor child. It was awful. And it just wrecked her. I mean, the eczema that she had and how she would crack and bleed. Poor baby. But we did get it figured out, thank God. And the eczema stuck with her for several years. But we even got that finally to simmer down. And when we backed out of, honestly, pulling milk out of her diet for the most part, just doing a little bit, she can handle it. But I don't know. It was, and she was a trooper. I mean, considering how much pain she was in for so long and whatnot. But it was an adventure. Always an adventure.
Just thinking about the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All kinds of things to think about.
Yeah.
We had all kinds of.
Yeah, when we moved out there on Devonshire, I had a good time out there. I just remember seeing them play the sprinklers and the water hoses and the dog running around, covered head to toe in mud and dirt and whatever else.
Always. Always. We spent our days outdoors.
Yeah.
And take a nice warm bath and get a good dinner in our bellies, and off to bed everybody would go. And yeah, they
remember having the guys over from the church, like Colin and all those guys.
Yeah.
They would come over, and they were all like from, I guess they were in college at that point or about to head to college. So they used to come over to Weatherwood when they were in high school. Mm-hmm. And then we moved out there, and they started volunteering at the church.
Yeah.
As, part of, some
student
of the
ministry.
Youth leadership and whatever else. And bringing all those different middle schoolers and high schoolers out to the house. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
The kids loved it too.
Oh yeah, Maddie was.
And then when it was just them, and they would come over and we'd play poker at the table and whatever else. That was fun.
Yeah. And we always had food.
Play with Maddie and Quinn and.
Always something to eat, hang out around the table, and play or talk or whatever. Yeah, lots of good memories.
Yeah, it was.
And it's funny too. Okay, really, it's funny too because when we even through those times, it's okay. I mean, sorry y'all, you're gonna hear a little squeaker toy in the background, but and probably my stomach growling because I'm starving.
Drop.
But it's funny to think too, even though we weren't necessarily in great space when it came to our walk with Christ.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Even
we were
then,
still intertwined mainly with the church and how important that is, even if you're
struggling with your faith, your relationship with Christ.
Correct.
It doesn't,
correct. It doesn't
hurt you to be there.
No. And that's where all of our friends were.
Yeah.
And whatever else. And in the majority of our relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And as time went on, which I'm sure we'll discuss in another episode of, the struggles with the business and whatever, that transition, it was vital to have those relationships and friendships. And a lot of people came around us in some great ways during those times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could probably do that one next time because that's kind of where we've
I think so.
Talk about those
kind of a little bit more fill into the gap on moving out there and how that happened and whatever else.
Sounds like a good plan. Well, on that great note, we'll leave y'all to it. Thanks for stopping by the Edwards table. Always remember there's a seat for you here. And, make sure you follow us, like us, do all the social media bits. Whatever the younglings are doing, go do that, y'all.
Yeah, do it. That's right. And cue the music. Ding, 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 ding. Sounds like Charlie Brown. Peace.